Last section. 5, 5.
Did you guys ever see Team America?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Just say no.
Very
Very.
No, I won't be here at the very end. Did you ever eat that cereal not chocolate?
No, very.
No, I had Cocoa Puffs. Mine is the same thing.
It's just the maple color.
Blueberry?
Yeah. Blueberry and count chocolate.
I mean, the outer ring flavors.
What is your last name?
Yeah, like the outer ring flavors.
Aldrin.
Nick, what?
Ah,
Oh,
yeah.
take it.
You'll see what I did. I was like, I want to do something.
Okay, hold on. Oops, there's a hole in my pocket.
Let's start off with something simplistic.
As always.
If generally the book will do this, it'll give a range for theta. If it doesn't, we'll have to talk about that in a second. So I'm going to do this twice with two different ideas. One where theta is squeezed in one rotation of a circle, and one where it's open where it can revolve forever and ever and ever.
What is that?
Oh, how do you read this part? This says theta is on the interval from 0 to 2 pi.
Now what is the east? What is it represent?
Interval.
Actually, it means element.
Okay.
That means theta is part of this interval.
I put E. I got it.
E, it's element. So the equation I want to solve is simple.
Always gets hard.
I need to find theta. Now, you could use a cosine inverse. That'll give you a possible answer, but it doesn't give you
Exactly.
all the answers. Because you have to remember, cosine inverse only works in which quadrants?
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if this angle was in 3 or 4, then it won't give us any answers for those. So we're going to do it a different way. Number 1, what is, oh well, actually,
Wait,
what?
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 When you say cosine is equal to a half, and you try to draw a picture of it, where would a cosine be a positive half? What
It would
quadrant?
be a positive half. It would be a positive half in the first.
It would be a
Four.
positive half in the first quadrant,
Or the fourth.
or down here in the fourth quadrant.
Mm.
You know
So-
what? You always miss.
Did you say sine or cosine? I thought it was first and second. First and second, not first and fourth.
First and second is sine.
Cosine is positive in the first and the fourth. Cosine inverse
Okay,
works
okay.
in the first and the
Second.
second.
Oh, but so for this, for the whole entire thing, 0 to 2 pi thing, it has to go for what is positive of it, right?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
saying
okay.
cosine of an angle is a positive ratio. Cosine has a positive ratio in the first quadrant and also in the fourth.
So what if it was a tangent?
We'll get to that eventually.
Would it be one of the three?
Okay,
Okay, we'll
Patience.
get to that eventually.
If it was negative, you're rushing over here. You're American.
second and third, right? It would swing around.
Sorry.
Alright, so if it's cosine of theta is equal to 1/2, this side of the triangle would be 1, and this side would be 2, this side would be square root of 3. So that forces this angle to be what measure? Pi over 3. So one of the answers from 0 to pi over 2 pi is pi over 3. But we also have to worry about this angle, wrapped all the way around between 0 and 2 pi. I can't go backwards because my angle is restricted on the first positive rotation.
That's pi over, so it would be 5 pi over 3.
5 pi over 3. 3 pieces in the top, 3 pieces at the bottom, back off 1.
You guys are geniuses.
3 pieces
I
in
know.
the top,
Yes.
3 pieces in the bottom, that brings you up to
6.
6, back off 1.
Why was back off 1?
Because the angle's down here. You have to
You
back
can't
off
go backwards. You can't make it
But the
negative.
angle was up
Hmm,
there.
I'm just talking about 5 pi over 3. It's 3 pieces at the top,
It can be
3
in
pieces gives you 6, back off 1. How many are we talking about? 5, so 5 pi over 3. It's just a way to get to it.
It's
Oh.
Wait,
It's
because
just
it can be
counting.
in the first and the fourth.
So the solution to this one would be pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. The problem comes when I get rid of this interval piece right here. So if I solve exactly just this equation, cosine of theta equals 1/2, all by itself, I already know 2 of the answers. but I need to wrap this thing around forever in both directions. So while we're thinking about it, just come over here. If I know, let's change colors. If I know that this angle is one of the solutions, pi over 3,
Alright.
how can I come back to that same angle but not change its position?
Wait,
Add it
say
to
it again?
360.
Add 360, but
Or subtract 360.
in our case, not
Or
360.
add 2 pi.
2 pi.
2 pi.
So if you add 2 pi to this, you come all the way back and you're back to where you
Started.
started. So I can add 2 pi and that brings me back, and that would be one of the solutions. I can add 2 pi to it again and it brings me back, and that would be another solution. I can subtract it and go the other direction. So the way I want to think about this, let's start off graphically just to show you what's really going on. What's cosine look like?
It looks like
definitely
it
going
starts in the middle.
No,
Or it starts at the origin.
Up.
Up,
Starts
middle,
one high,
goes
One
down.
high goes down to 0.
one low.
High.
High,
Low.
low.
Middle. Yeah.
Yeah, that pattern.
Gotcha.
So it
It looks
goes
like this.
high, middle, low, middle, high, middle, low, middle, high, and it just keeps on.
It's a W.
It's not a
DW.
W.
I don't know
Yeah, it
about you,
is.
but that looks like
I
a
remember
W.
that show. What
That's
W?
what it is.
What show?
What's that? W from Arthur.
The cosine show.
Now, this is saying that cosine of the angle is equal to a half. Now, this half goes on what axis?
Half is on the X.
Over here?
Y-axis.
It's on the y-axis. So here's what we're looking for. We're looking for when the cosine is equal to a half.
It would
That's what
be
the equation says. Cosine of theta equals a half.
Oh,
it equals 1
Yeah.
half
So if I draw a line this way, how many times does it hit the curve?
4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Infinity.
Oh, infinite. I'm sorry.
It's
On
okay.
that graph, it hits it 4 times.
I mean,
It hits it 4 times here, but if I keep going in both directions, it would hit it an infinite number of times.
Yes.
Now, the interesting part is the distance between the first hit and this hit over here.
Wait,
How far?
why
The first hit
I'm doing drugs.
and this one way over here.
2 pi.
They're both coming down their slope, so they're 2 pi apart.
It
They're,
equals, yeah.
it's a period, so this is 2 pi. And the distance between the second hit and its corresponding second hit is over here. This is also
2 pi.
2 pi. So when we write the solutions to this, if I want to list all of them that are possible, I'm going to write it this way. One of my answers was pi over 3 from over here. It's going to be the same pi over 3 because it's the same equation. But I want to add 2 pi to it. Now notice I left a little space in here. I want to make it 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi, 8 pi. So I'm just going to throw in a number here. We're going to call it k.
Make it an
That's a
equation.
letter.
But k is going to represent a number. Algebra, you know? So we're going to let k
Algebra.
equal dot, 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 -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and off to infinity. What kind of numbers are those?
Algebra.
Yeah.
Well, those are intervals.
Those are
Not
algebra.
intervals.
Interval.
Integers.
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 Prime, not
Integers. Okay.
they're prime.
They are not prime. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I was just counting
They're
those
rational.
up there.
They're rational, but I don't want rational because that's fractions.
How about real?
I want integer numbers.
How about real?
Integerable.
So the other answer would be 5 pi over 3 plus 2k pi, where k is equal to the integers.
Why'd you get 2k pi? I'm sorry, I was writing when you explained that part.
If I add 2 pi to it, it brings me back. That's what I was talking about over here. It brings me back. If I add 4 pi to it, it brings me back. That would be 2 pi times
Whatever, how many times you rotate.
whatever number, right? So this would be how many rotations have you done? So k is a rotational thing. So this would be all of the solutions. Because k takes care of going
So,
forwards and going backwards.
so the solve exactly is just a formula.
Kind of, yeah. It's not a formula, it's an expression that is infinite in nature.
What we made up.
Well, that, but.
So to find it exactly, all you gotta do is add the,
2 pi k,
yeah.
or 2k pi.
And that's all we have to, like, we
Mhm.
don't want to.
So you take your 2 original answers, and you tag on 2 pi k, 2k pi. Either way you want
And do we have to write what k is?
Just to write off the side k integers. Or if you want to get fancy,
Yeah.
You ain't fancy, huh?
that would do it.
Yes.
Z is a representation of integers.
I think you're missing a p and make it fancy.
I don't think you will. But what if it was like cosine plus sine type thing?
Those get horrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Very difficult.
With the mini.
In other words, I wouldn't want to do it.
Okay. Oh, that's math.
I know, but I wouldn't want to do it
Why not?
because it would probably be way too hard. Some of these you'd have to do with a computer.
Okay.
See, we're gonna keep it simplistic.
Like I said,
Computer.
I don't have to worry about learning this. Just put it in the computer.
But you have to understand why they
I
were.
know. I
So-
know.
Another one. A little harder, not horrible. Sine of 2 theta equals -1/2.
Now we're negative.
I'm going to test out all the possibilities. So sine of 2 theta equals -1/2. So your first step should be draw a picture. Basically, if you're doing a trigonometry problem and you're not drawing a picture, you're doing it wrong.
All
I
right.
won't.
Already.
Ah,
I
sad.
know.
So this is the sine. When you see 2 theta, just call it the angle. So this is the sine of an angle that is equal to a negative ratio. So what quadrants does it have to be in?
Third and fourth.
Third and fourth.
No,
Now, I'm going to talk about the main quadrant. Which quadrant should I put the sine into for its main quadrant?
four.
4, because sine
Oh, it's
inverse
negative.
works in the fourth.
Yeah.
So I'll put the main triangle in the fourth quadrant, but I'll also say that it's got an angle over here in the third. Those are the two quadrants of sine is negative. Now, this is the angle we're going to be talking about. And the angle is -1/2, so opposite side has to be 1. The
Negative.
hypotenuse has to be
2.
2, and this one's going to be negative for sure, it's going down. Third side is square root of 3, so this angle has to be
30 degrees.
pi over 6. So the first one I'm going to write down is, Pi
Are
over
we
6.
doing this exactly? Or
30
just-
degrees.
we're going to do the whole thing.
Okay.
I
Do
mean,
we have
the
to
first
draw
step
this
is-
thing? Do we have to draw the thing on
No,
the
no,
left
no,
side?
no. The first thing is to come up with the two angles and then worry about iterating it.
Why is that 2 there?
Wouldn't it be negative?
We're getting there.
No.
Wouldn't it be negative pi over 6? Or would you make?
No, no, no. The reference angle is pi over 6.
So you're looking for.
The reference angle is pi over 6. Hold on, I'm getting there. Just let me get there. So the reference angle is pi over 6. But remember, we usually want to wrap around. Now, you can either A, call it 11 pi over 6. I wouldn't. Or the one you want to call it, which is
Negative.
negative. So call it negative pi over 6. What's the other angle then? If I go this way.
It would be 7 pi over
7
6.
pi over
Hold on, what?
11 pi over 6?
You could write it as 11 pi over 6. That'd be perfectly fine.
Why would it be 5 pi over 6?
Because
5 pi over 6 is over
in the
here.
second quadrant.
6 pieces, 6 pieces, that'd be 12, back off 1. So you could call this 11 pi over 6, if you really, really wanted to, but it's easier just to call it negative pi over 6. Because we're going to add on that 2k pi thing. Alright, what's the other one?
7
Negative
pi over 6.
7 pi over 6.
or negative 5.
No.
No.
That one I don't like writing anyways, but we'll leave it.
Wait,
All right.
negative pi over 6, is that like the first angle?
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
And then this one is that 7 pi over 6, which is graphing all the way over there. Now, we have a problem. These are the angles where we say the sine of the angle is equal to a -1/2, but our angle is equal to
2 pi.
2 theta.
It's 2 thetas.
So this
I'm
becomes 2 theta is equal to negative pi over 6, and 2 theta is equal to 7 pi over 6. You can't leave it like that. So both of them you have to solve for
Theta.
theta. So you're going to take this whole thing, solve it for theta, and the first one says theta is equal to negative pi over 12. Don't change the sign. And the second one tells you theta is equal to
7 pi over 6.
14. Wait, never mind. 7 pi over 12.
12. I'm sorry.
I swear, 7 pi over 12. You multiply the bottom number when you're dividing by 2. Alright, this is where you can say, okay, these are my two angles that I'm going to come up with, and I'm going to add on 2 pi, I'm going to change the order. It sounds better saying 2 pi k.
2 pi's and a work
Why
character.
did you put those? 7 pi over
Why did I put these?
No, the last one.
This one?
Yeah, I mean, like, what made you do it?
Because, hold on a second. I'm going to be patient. This is one of the triangles we drew here, right? So that gave us the negative pi over 6. But sine is negative in another quadrant. It's also negative in the third quadrant. So if this reference angle is pi over 6, the measure of this angle wrapping around to it is 7 pi over 6. 6 in the top, 1 more. Now, solving for theta, you have to divide both of them by 2, and you get these answers. Now, this would be all the possible solutions. The book could still ask you to find all the solutions between 0 and 2 pi. The problem here is, for 2 theta, these are all the answers between, well, if I made that 11 pi over 6, these would be the 2 answers between 0 and 2 pi. The problem comes because we divided by 2, that there might be more than just those 2 answers. So we have to test out those k's.
Awesome.
We're going to choose a couple k's. So first off, you let k equals 0, and it gives you the answers negative pi over 6 and, I'm sorry, negative pi over 12 and 7 pi over 12.
Now, I do got one question before you continue. How do you?
Well, hold on. Theta looks like it'd be between 0 and 2 pi. And then we do this process.
So unlike the first one, where there was
Just the k.
just the theta, that's why you didn't have to divide by 2.
Right.
When you
It
have.
was already solved for theta.
Gotcha.
Why?
Ooh.
So, when you ask for the answer, is it gonna be the 2 theta, or is it that one?
This one.
Okay.
And we need this one to find out how many, if they ask you between 0 and 2 pi, we're going to find out all those possible answers. Now, right off the bat, this one gets thrown out
Why?
because it's negative. It's not between 0 and 2 pi.
It's not.
So for k equals 0, we get these 2 answers. For k equals 1, what do we get? Well, you get negative pi over 12.
We do not get that
Oh,
one.
oh.
You can't.
I screwed up someplace. I'm
What?
sorry. I screwed up.
Now I'm all screwed up.
No.
I'm sorry.
My screw up is this. This would have had 2 pi k on it, and this would have had 2 pi k on it.
So you gotta divide them both by 2?
I have to divide those both by 2. These
So it
should
would make
be
it pi k?
1s.
That's what I was asking.
Thank you.
No. That would be pi.
You ain't liquor.
So when we get to k equals 1, it's going to be negative pi over 12 plus
No,
pi.
it can't be negative pi over 12.
It's what we wrote down here, so we're going to go with it. And this one would be 7 pi over 12 plus pi.
But you just told us that it couldn't be that. Because it's 0 to 2 pi.
But we're choosing it, so you chose. Who chose that, right?
You did.
The negative pi over 6?
Thank
You did.
I was there.
Yeah, but you said you would much rather have it.
I'm going to go with what you said. It won't hurt because it'll pop out of here. So what's negative pi over 12 plus pi?
I don't know.
Pi, that would be 13.
This is
or no,
12
that'd
pi
be
over
11 pi over 12.
There's your 11 pi over 12. What's 7 pi over 12 plus pi?
That would be 19 pi over 12.
Now, is 11 pi over 12 between 0 and 2 pi?
Yes.
Yes. Is 19 pi over 12 between 0 and 2 pi?
Yes.
Yes. So this is an answer, this is an answer, this is an answer.
Wrong. Happy hunting.
So far.
We can't do any. Well, yeah, we can. We can do one more for the 11 pi over 12.
So if you do k equals 2, you get negative pi over 12 plus 2 pi, and 7 pi over 12 plus 2 pi. Now, even before I even calculate this one, is this one going to be between 0 and 2 pi?
No.
No, we can get rid of that one. Is this one going to be between 0 and 2 pi?
It's gonna be
Yeah.
23
Yes.
pi over 12.
This becomes 23 pi over 12.
Which makes it just a
So this
I
is
just
also
added 12
a
to 11.
solution.
It's because,
This becomes 24 pi over 12. 24 pi over 12.
I'm sorry.
So for our solutions, our theta is going to equal, smallest one, 7 pi over 12,
11 pi over 12.
11 pi over 12,
19 pi over 12.
19 pi over 12, oops, 19 pi over 12,
23 pi over 12.
and 23 pi over 12.
So why do you have to do this?
Am I the only
Because I
is this
came
the
up with
answer?
all the answers that are between 0 and 2 pi.
Am I the only person that's ready?
Holy God.
Well, it's really not that bad.
Well, here was.
I mean, I'm not trying to be a smart ass.
Yes, you are.
When are we gonna use this?
My test.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing that, but like.
It depends on where you're going. I mean, the design of this class is to get you ready for calculus. If you're not going to do calculus, obviously you're not going to use it beyond here, but
What would you use it for, like, in a profession? We don't need
It was distracting.
Nothing?
physics,
I don't know.
electricity.
No,
um,
right?
Well, you were.
That's why most people when they get to college they say, what major has no math in
English.
No.
it? Yeah, about that, yeah.
Well, your math teacher, you'll use this.
If you're a math teacher, you have to learn all this
Can you
junk.
explain that over?
Ouch.
Can I explain that over? What part?
Ouch.
Oh, all this?
Yeah.
So we came up with these two formulas for all the possible thetas. But I said, well, what if I only have a restriction to go one full rotation?
Let's be honest.
What you have to do then is start substituting values for k. You don't want to go negative because our angles start positive. So you let k equal 0. That gives you these two answers. You choose the one that falls in this range. Then you turn around and say k equals 1, so I'm adding pi to both of them. So I get these two answers, and they do fall in that range. Then I let k equal 2. This one falls in the range, but this one falls outside of it, because it's bigger than 2 pi. That's all.
You have to do that for like every one of them?
No, it'll only be a certain few that you have to do that. Most of them, I'm just looking for the two answers.
So if it was like negative 2 pi to 2 pi, you would have kept the first one, the
I would
negative.
have to go for a lot more too, though, so no, thank you. It'll always be 0 to 2 pi.
The 11 over 12.
We'll let everybody
So what did you do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're trying
Yeah, just add it. This is negative pi over 12 plus 12 pi over 12. Just changing this to a common denominator. That's all I'm doing. Common denominator all the way through.
Would you
Are
ever
you
do,
just yawning or raising?
Oh, yeah, I was just straight.
would you ever do 0 to pi?
Just trying to do the arbitrary.
You could, I mean,
Would you?
I wouldn't,
Okay.
but you could. I mean, restrictions are just restrictions.
Okay.
How about,
Let's go home.
nah,
I can dig it.
let me steal one out of the book.
Like seriously.
Samantha,
Yeah, she's.
you don't need those anyways.
Why do you need your calculator? We're not doing any computing. Why do you need your batteries? We're not doing any computing.
Computing.
I said computing.
Who was it used to say?
Tangent.
Little cheap.
Nobody.
Oh, we're going to do tangent now?
Why not?
I have a question though.
30. I hear you louder and clearer than anybody else.
When you do the, so this time we will have to do the plus
We're gonna do the
pi
exact
k.
same.
Well, you messed up.
Patience.
Samantha,
Patience.
she asked a history teacher a science question.
There we go.
What did you ask him?
She asked him about radio.
Put it off till after class. After class. After class. So, tangent of 3x equals negative square root of 3. When is the tangent having a negative ratio?
Third.
Oh wait, a negative
students
ratio?
take-
It'll be in the
Wouldn't it be
first
Students.
And then
All
the
students
second
take
and
calculus.
the fourth.
Which one is the main one?
Second. Fourth.
Four.
Excuse me. Thank you.
It's in the fourth because tan inverse works in the first and the fourth.
Fourth.
The other quadrant it'll happen is
Second.
second. So those are the two angles we're going to be looking for. When we set up this angle, this is opposite over adjacent. So this side becomes
Square root of 3.
negative square root of 3. This side becomes
Uno.
uno. And then of course this side is 2. So this angle is equal to,
I don't know.
60.
Pi
Pi over 3.
it's pi over 3. Now which one do you want? Negative pi
No,
over 3?
I would like 5 pi over 3.
Alright, so we're going to get theta, I'm going to write it separately down here. Theta is equal to, I shouldn't say
3.
theta,
3x.
3x. So 3x is equal to 5 pi over 3. Plus,
2k pi.
now do I need to do 2k pi?
Yes.
No,
Pi.
pi k,
Why?
because
because
tangent
it
has
has
a period of pi.
That's right.
You could do 2 pi, but that just brings you back to
You tricked
here.
us, remember? That's the only one that has pi.
Now think about this. Shh, think. If this is my angle down here, how do I get to the other angle?
Wait, what? That add
If
pi.
I go from here
Add
to
pi.
here,
You
just add
add
pi.
pi.
So this would be pi k.
So why is it in the second and fourth? Because it's only pi.
No, because it's negative. Tangent is all students take calculus. So tangent is positive here and here. It's negative here and here. All right, the other one is going to be 3x is equal to. So that would give me 5 pi over 3 to here. What is this angle?
That would be 2 pi over 3.
That's 2 pi over 3.
Why is that?
Because
The
you
reference
do
angle
3
is
pi
pi
over
over
3 minus
3.
pi over 3.
3 parts on the top, back off 1.
Oh, okay.
Plus
Okay.
pi k. Now you have two equations. You have to solve them both for x. Divide both sides by 3. And you get x is equal to
2 pi over 9. Wait, no. Would it be 2 pi over 9? It would be 2
Pi
pi
over
over
9.
Oh, you're over here.
Oh,
Yeah, 2 pi over 9 here and over here.
5
5 pi over 9. So 5 pi over 9 plus
pi over k.
pi over 3k. Easiest way to write it. And over here it would be x equals 2 pi over 9 plus pi over 3k. Alright?
Si, senor.
And now you just start choosing values of k. So the first one is
Oh, never mind.
k equals 0. If k is equal to 0, we get two answers right off the bat. 5 pi over 9 and
2 pi over
2 pi over 9. It doesn't matter if they're out of order. Alright, if you let k equal 1, what do you get? Individually, you get 5 pi over 9 plus pi over 3.
Which would make it like, that would be 8 pi over 9.
This would be 8 pi over 9. And the other one is 2 pi over 9 plus pi over 3.
So that would make it 5 pi over 9.
5 pi over 9.
Do you do
I don't
do
even
you
know
do
how to do all these
0, 1,
pies,
and 2
but
every single time?
y'all
Yes.
give me a slice.
Okay.
Because your angle has to be between 0 and 2 pi, so going negative is going to do nothing. And 0 will give you the first ones that work.
Because I did 3 pi over 9, and then added 3 pi and 5 pi, which makes it 8 pi, and 3 pi and 2 pi, which makes it 5 pi, and then you put 9 on the bottom.
Okay.
I'm really
9
good.
at the bottom. K equals 2.
Soggy bottom.
If K equals 2, 5 pi over 9 plus 2 pi over 3. So that becomes
17 pi.
6 pi plus 5 pi is
11 pi.
11 pi over 9. So this one is 11 pi over 9.
I only got 10
every
Pop
day.
up two.
How do what?
How do you not have a headache every day?
How do you not have a headache?
I do. I
No.
got one right now.
Then this is also going to be 5 pi over 9. No. 2 pi.
You're so smart, you make me.
8 pi.
2 pi over 9 plus 2 pi over 3. That's 6 pi over 9 plus 2 pi over 9, which is
8.
8
8
pi
pi
over 9.
over 9.
Do we have to do
The bottom one is
I'm gonna
always
use
going to
another
be the
board.
same. The lesser one is always going to be the same as the greater one and the last one.
Oh,
Like
so
the
we only
next
need
one?
to do half of these.
So next time when it's k equals 3, I bet you that when you do 2 pi over 9, it's going to make 11 pi over 9.
So we really only need to do the first one.
Yeah.
So the first one is 5 pi over 9 plus
Catherine is smart. Plus, what are we doing?
well, k is equal to 3, so this becomes 3 times pi,
So it would
which
be
is
9 pi over 9,
9 pi over 9,
Or pie.
which
which
is
makes it 14 pi over 9.
14 pi over 9.
Let's make sure that the next one's.
Well, it would be
Yeah, it
2
does,
pi
it
over
does.
9 plus 9 pi over 9, which would be 11 pi over 9, which
Yeah.
is over there.
Great Catherine's a genius.
Now, if I do k equals 4, that gives
Can't do
us
that. It won't make it too big.
5 pi over 9 plus
12 pi over 9.
k is equal to 4.
Does that make
Why are we
sense?
going past
Um,
So it'd be
Wait.
4 pi,
4 pi times 3 is 12 pi.
oh, 4 pi times
4?
3 is 12 pi over 9.
I said that.
I know, I'm just making sure my brain's in the right
Which
place.
makes it 17 pi over 9,
I agree.
which you can do. It's not 2 pi yet, but you can
Now-
do the next one.
2 pi over 9 plus 12 pi over 9 is 14 pi over 9, which we already have.
I thought we already had to do pi.
Hmm?
Oh yeah,
I thought we already had to do pi.
0 to 2 pi. That's generally how all of them are, 0 to 2 pi.
Even if it's tangent.
It's just the period of tangent is pi. The cool thing is you only need half of them though,
Yeah,
which is kind of nice.
we need that on every tangent.
So the next one would be k equals 5,
You can't do that.
and I don't think this one's going to work.
It won't because
It
you're
won't.
1 away. You're
5 pi over 9
It's
plus
gonna be 20.
You're 1 pi away.
5 pi over 3.
No. Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Which would make
So
it
that's
20 pi over 9, which would make it 25 pi over 9.
20 pi.
20.
15
Oh, I'm
pi.
sorry, 15, which would make it 20 pi
20 pi over
over 9.
9. And 20 pi over 9, what's wrong with that?
It's too big.
over.
It's over
It's
1
over.
pi.
So my answers are 17 pi over 9, 14 pi over 9,
Yeah, 11 pi over
Wait,
9.
why?
11 pi.
I thought we only had to do 2.
up to 2 pi. This is bigger than 2 pi.
So you
I'm
stop.
gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm stopped. When you go
I
9
thought
into
you only did 0, 1, 2, and
you do it
You
until
do
you
it.
get out of the interval. That's why I wanted to do this one. It's
Because
not
there's a lot
that you
of
only do
answers.
k equals 0, 1, 2. I mean, it could be as many as you want. But it has to get bigger than 2 pi. So I stopped here because 9 goes into 20 twice. And I'm done. So
More.
1, 2,
Okay.
3. It's over here.
8.
5 pi over 9. Yeah. And 8 pi over 9.
And 2 pi over 9.
And 2 pi over 9 over there.
And so
There are
that's
Yeah.
6, yeah.
6 solutions.
Why can't 5 pi over that?
K.
Which one?
5 pi over 9
That's
does
all
work.
right.
Circle it.
No. I got it in a cramped corner. I should have it a little bit more
I
space.
really thought I was lost now.
Alright, does it get worse than that?
It does?
So
No.
then what did we,
Oh.
that would tan of 3x equal to, or just?
Gosh, I thought we were
That's what x is equal to. 2 makes tan of 3x equal to negative square root of 3. Those are all the angles between 0 and 2 pi that if you plug it into that equation, it'll pop out negative square root of 3.
We do it.
Yeah.
Is that
It's a
our
school
work?
bus.
This one.
I think you have fun at told me.
Oh my god, yeah. This is where I get enjoyment in life. 2 sine squared x minus 3 sine of x plus 1 is equal to 0. It's a trigonometric equation.
You have to anti-foil it.
Factor it. Just call it factor it.
I forgot what it was called.
Anti-foil it. So, factor it. Guess and check works pretty well on these. So it has to be a 2 and a 1 and a 1, because 1 times 1 will give
And
you the
it's going to
first
be
one.
minus in both of them.
Yes.
It's going to be minus in both of them.
And then it's going to be sine x.
Sine x and sine x.
Sounds like a nasal.
How do you solve
Sin
it?
x.
I'm used to Sonic.
Set both of them equal to 0. So the first one says 2 sine of x minus 1 is equal to 0. The second one says sine of x minus 1 is equal to 0. So it has 2 separate equations you have to work with now.
What?
But they're not that bad, and we're not going to go for the k-pi type solutions.
I don't even know what it is.
So add 1 and divide by 2, so this one says sine of x is equal to a half. If you draw a picture, what quadrants is sine positive?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. So you get a main triangle in the first quadrant, a secondary angle in the second quadrant. 1 and 2, all students.
Okay.
The positive in both of those quadrants. 1 and 4 is sine inverse.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so if this is 1/2, this is 1, this is 2, this is square root of 3, so the angle has to be pi over 6. So one of them is pi over 6, the other one is
5 pi over 6.
5 pi over 6. So x so far is equal to pi over 6 and 5 pi over 6. When it turns into these factoring ones, you just go for the main answers and you're done. Don't worry about the plus 2 pi k thing. Only if they're short ones like that do I look for the 2 pi k things. Alright, the second one over here is sine of x is equal to positive 1. What picture do I draw for that one?
Just in first.
Oh wait, no, sine, it's 1, so it's like on
It's on an X.
Point.
It's on an
On an
axis.
Yeah, but what picture do I draw?
you draw this picture.
circle.
Unit circle.
Unit circle. So this one you need the unit circle to solve. This is 1, 0, this is 0, 1, this is -1, 0, and 0, -1.
It's going to be your top one.
It's going to be
Top one.
top
It's the top one. So the angle must be
5 and
90.
pi over 2. And there's your solutions.
I'm a genius now. On that one.
Okay, good job.
Not that right.
Okay.
That one wasn't that odd. That one better.
Yeah, because then you're only worried about one rotation and you're not worried about anything else.
Did you talk
Are
about
most of them you have to do
you
the
good?
pi days?
You go home.
Not even close. What's that?
I said, is there more like this where you don't have to do pi k or?
Usually when they just get more complex like this, you just drop off that possibility. You could introduce it, but
I mean, yeah, I know
yeah, if you can get this far, I'm happy.
that. Yeah.
But on simple ones like this, I will expect the pi k thing and the 2 pi k thing.
On the test, will you like clarify which ones?
When I say things like on an interval 0 to 2 pi, you know you're doing this thing.
If you don't give us what if you give us that type of problem like on the right and you don't give us an interval?
Then all you have to do is write these 2 solutions and you're done. Well, these two solutions. And then, that's all the infinite number of solutions. But trust me, I'll ask for 0 to 2 pi.
I figure I'll just ask him.
This one. Cosine 2 theta plus 3 equals 5 cosine theta.
I feel like it's gonna be
Different.
different.
Later.
Hater.
Don't let the door hit your butt on the way out.
What?
The door hit.
Close it.
In other words,
Yes.
it's gonna hurt a butt one day.
Problem.
I'll just go over there and kick it.
Problem?
What's the problem with this
You
problem?
don't have your cosines on the right.
You have to-
Yeah, we can move all the cosines over. What's the other problems?
You can't factor it?
Well, you can't work with it because one's 2 theta and
Yeah.
the other one is
Theta, that's what I'm
theta.
saying.
So I need at least them to be exactly the same. So how do I change cosine of 2 theta into something that has just which identity?
2 cosine squared x
Which one?
minus 1.
One on the sheet.
Which one?
2 cosine squared x
The one that's
minus
next to the
1.
other one.
So this is going to get replaced with 2
Cosine.
cosine squared theta minus 1.
Yes.
Bring the 5 cosine across so it becomes minus 5 cosine theta plus 3, and it's equal to 0. So treat these like quadratics. You want to get them equal to 0 and see what happens.
I don't care really. Alright.
Rearrange.
Rearrange.
What?
Oh,
No, not yet.
Which combines them?
Combine your like terms.
Yeah.
So this is 2 cosine squared theta minus 5 cosine theta plus 2.
Now.
Now you can try to factor it.
Maybe.
This one's not as nice.
2 and 5.
I'm going to do it kind of on the side. I'm going to change it to this. 2x squared minus 5x plus 2. How does that factor? I don't know.
We had to divide everything.
2 times 2 is?
4.
4. Factors of 4 that add up to 5 are 4 and 1.
Minus and minus.
So if it's going to be 4 and 1,
They have to be
you have to have a 2 here and a 2 here.
Yes.
Because that'll give you your 4.
Fours.
And then the 1 has to be 1 here and a single cosine there. So it's 2 cosine of theta and cosine of theta. What signs do they both need?
Oh God, if I know.
Plus and minus.
Both of them minus, because a negative times a negative will give you a
Who's
positive. And we want them to add up to negative 5.
Negative.
Always double check yourself when you do this way. This is 4 cosine minus 1 cosine. Oh, I'm sorry. Negative 4 cosine minus 1 cosine. Negative 5. Negative 1 times negative 2. 2.
Smooth.
And then 2 cosine times cosine is 2 cosine squared. So we're pretty safe. This is equal to 0.
0.
So this one says that cosine of theta is equal to what? The first factor.
What are you doing?
What is it?
1/2.
1/2. We're going to add 1 and divide by 2. The other one says cosine of theta is going to equal 2.
I feel like you're going to say something wrong with that.
I am. I was waiting for someone to tell me
0
something.
is 1
Oh,
1.
What's that?
You can't do 2 because 1 we use 1 1.
Cosine of theta is never ever going to equal
2.
2 because the
Never
biggest
one.
answer it can have is
1.
So we can take that whole half and go bye-bye.
You mean?
Horrible.
It's too big.
That'd be horrible.
I thought you meant that you're crossing out the half.
No, I'm crossing out cosine of theta equals 2 because that's impossible. So what quadrant is cosine?
1, 2.
4.
Positive first and
2.
4.
Oh, 4. First and 4.
So main triangle, secondary angle. How do you label the sides? Well, this side becomes,
1.
this side becomes 2 and this is square root of 3. So the angle is pi over 3. So theta is going to equal pi over 3. What's the other one?
Positive
Nothing.
5.
How many?
5.
Pi over 3. And that's the solution to that equation. I love when people draw a triangle for this one and try to label it. It gets a little strange looking. Hopefully I have enough room.
I think this is disgusting.
You think this is disgusting?
Can't give it so much water. We only got a little bit of time here.
We only have a little bit of time.
I'm talking about first class.
Oh.
Like
Somebody
remainder of
says-
the semester. If I don't have to come back again, if I don't have to come back.
Sine of x cosine of x is equal to. Did I write the right one?
You had to work.
76, yeah.
It's in there.
Square root of 3 over 4.
We do.
When you see these things, you have to always keep in the back of your head identities. Does sine of x times cosine of x look like an identity?
It's one.
No, but we have something that can turn.
Anything close?
Well, like, product.
Without the two in the front.
What is it with the 2 in the front?
That is, no twos, or not twos.
We can do that
Sine
1/2
2
sine
Sine
A
2
plus
theta.
B.
So if it had a 2 in front of it, it would be sine of 2 theta. So if I put a 2 in front of it, I'm multiplying the left by 2.
Wait, why are you multiplying it by 2?
There's an identity that looks like 2 sine cosine.
Don't you so we have to multiply the
Right,
other
right.
side?
So if you multiply the left by 2, you have to come over here and multiply by.
But there's also an identity that.
That becomes horribly ugly, and you don't want to go that direction. So this becomes, this whole thing becomes sine of 2x. This side becomes square root of 3 over 2. I multiply both sides by 2.
Got it.
I'm looking for it.
You're looking for it. It's on my sheet.
What sheet?
The one I gave you on the test.
I gave that back to you.
Oh, why would you do that? So, when is the sign of an angle positive?
That way the first and second.
First and second, so the main one is here. Secondary one is over there.
Yes, it is.
So this becomes square root of 3, this becomes 2, this is 1, and we're back to our boring angle, pi over 3. So our two answers are going to be pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3. Is that my final answer?
No.
You didn't give us an interval.
No. Even if I didn't give you an interval, that wouldn't be your final answer.
Heck no.
What do I have to do to it?
No, two.
Or five.
Well, I have to set them both equal to
Yes.
the inside here. So this is 2x equals pi over 3, and 2x equals 2 pi over 3.
Alright.
So x equals
5 and 6.
pi over 6 for the first one,
We can know.
and the second one is pi over 3. And I guess I could ask you for all the possible ones between 0 and 2 pi, but it's not worth it. Not for this. Not for this.
I
More interesting to see that you recognize this as an identity.
I'm still looking for it.
It's in the book. Back cover.
I don't have it.
Winner, chicken dinner.
There's a book. Back cover. Homework.
So with the answers would be pi over
Pi over 6 and pi over 3. Those are the ones I'd be looking for, but technically plus 2, what would be? Plus
That's right here.
pi. Plus pi.